The Wendy Williams Show, weekdays at 2 on KFNB, Wyoming's Fox TV.
Now, from Wyoming's news leader. More news, more often. Covering the latest local headlines, you're waking up with Good Morning Wyoming.
Wyoming, I'm Samana Sheikh here with your latest headlines. Get your coffee cups ready. Coming up, we have the latest coronavirus numbers. Plus, U.S. Senator Mike Enzi delivers his farewell address this week on the Senate floor after serving 24 years. We have the final total from the Gobble Gobble Give food drive, so stay tuned for more stories. Let's turn our attention to U.S. Senator Mike Enzi's farewell address. U.S. Senator Mike Enzi delivers his farewell address this week on the Senate floor after serving 24 years.
I rise today to give my farewell speech on the floor of the U.S. Senate. It's been an honor of a lifetime to serve the great people of Wyoming in this position for the last 24 years. I've really enjoyed being a senator. Not for the title, not for the recognition, and certainly not for the publicity. I love solving problems for folks in Wyoming and America. It turns out that when we work together, we can create a better bill than when we just try to do it alone or force others to accept our ideas. That's why success is not really about compromise.
Let's turn our attention to coronavirus numbers. As of Wednesday, Wyoming saw 577 new confirmed cases of the coronavirus. It brings the state's confirmed total to 29,966. Wyoming also saw 512 new recoveries. It brings the recovery total to 23,113. Now, the total of COVID-related deaths in the state is now at 230. Tickets for an original holiday production by Casper College are now on sale. The dance concert will run from December 3rd through December 12th. Now, we spoke with Jody Jones, director and choreographer of Merry Mixed Up Christmas.
So this is a production of merriment, joy, family traditions, little twists and turns that you might not expect. It is an original adaptation to A Christmas Carol. The audience, the space is thoroughly deep cleaned after every single performance. We have hand sanitizers at the door. Everyone is required in a mask, and all the seating is socially distanced. And so you can come with your family and you don't have to be socially distanced. You can sit with your family, but the next group of people will be socially distanced away from you. We open Thursday, and we have a show Thursday, Friday, Saturday at 7:30. Then we have a show on Sunday at 2 o'clock, and then the following Thursday through Saturday. And we have two shows on that final Saturday on the 12th. Again, we have a 2 o'clock and a 7:30. The show is running anywhere between 51 and 54 minutes. It depends on a couple changes. You can buy tickets at our box office at 307-268-2500. You can come to the box office, you can call us, we can seat you. We aren't doing the online version because we have to be able to socially distance everyone. So we're really protecting you in that way. Please come see us in Merry Mixed Up Christmas, the dance production that is happening at Casper College.
After a month of raising food and funds for the hungry, the 7th annual Gobble Gobble Gives results are finally in.
For the last month, Wyoming's Food Bank of the Rockies has been raising food and money for their 7th annual Gobble Gobble Give Food and Fun Drive. Wyomingites all over the state have participated by donating food at select sponsored stores, businesses, and schools. Many threw in their extra change in the famous turkey jars located throughout town, while others donated money to the cause. The fundraiser ran from October 26 to November 26 with the hopes of raising 90,000 meals in 30 days to help fight hunger and feed hope. We now have the final count of this year's donations. We are proud to announce that the 7th annual Gobble Gobble Give Food and Fun Drive ended up raising 139,103 meals. This is the most meals ever raised in Gobble history. Thank you to all who participated and helped feed so many in the community.
Good morning. As we head through the day, we've got clear skies. It certainly is a cold start, but the sun will come out and help us make it feel a little bit warmer. And the temperatures will go up some for today. Let's check out the wind aspect. And not a lot of it out there from Casper west. We may get some breezes over 10 miles per hour at times and gusts around Casper, and more likely to run into some occasional breeze as you head east and south along I-25. But for a lot of the state, we are tracking light wind, which is good when you have the cold temperatures. But again, the temperatures do get higher as we track through today. More areas are heading above freezing. We're even reaching up to near 50 as we head to the Nebraska border. Also up around Sheridan, 50 degrees. To the west, we got lots of 30s and even some 20s on the map. Still not getting out of the upper 20s in Jackson, and 32 for a high in Yellowstone. Let's look ahead here. Your next 3 days in Casper. Again, today a little bit warmer, down to 21 tonight. And then we climb up to 43 on Friday. And not bad for December as we head to the weekend. We'll have a high in the mid-40s and sunny skies. For Cheyenne, we're getting an even bigger warming trend. Look at these temperatures ahead. We're up to 53 for your Friday. Lows warming up to the upper 20s and close to 50 on Saturday. I'll have more on your weekend forecast coming up.
The hours continue to tick down until Wyoming heads back to Las Vegas to take on New Mexico on Saturday. The Cowboys' opposition finds themselves in a state of disarray as losses mount up on the season. The Lobos' own head coach, Danny Gonzalez, repeatedly called his team a bad football team after last week's loss to Utah State, and it was in that game Connor Janal saw his first ever college football action. Now this week against Wyoming, the redshirt freshman gets his first ever start for winless New Mexico. Lobos' first-string QB Tavaka Tuioti is out due to concussion symptoms, and second-string Trey Hall, who suffered bruised ribs in the Utah State loss, is also out. Janal spoke with the media after the Utah State loss and echoed his head coach's sentiment about the team struggling to overcome adversity.
I don't know what it is. We just come out after halftime, and then maybe it's because we always start with the ball to start the games, and so maybe we come out flat during after halftime, and then once I feel like once something bad happens, people find it hard to just turn around and forget about it. They scored a touchdown and we were tied, and everyone just let it get to them. They're like, oh my gosh, they came out and scored on us. They don't know how to react, I feel like. We got to handle adversity better than we do right now.
Wyoming's defense is tied for third in the Mountain West with 16 sacks through 4 games, trailing only Fresno and Utah State at 19. The problems for New Mexico are compounded by what the Albuquerque Journal's Steve Virgin told me this week is a disconnect between the head coach and his players.
I do sense like I said, the word tension there, but there's a little bit of disconnect. I think he's still trying to connect with the players, and obviously he feels very strongly about this team, very strongly about this program. It's, he went to school there and all that.
The Cowboys are favored by 17.5 on New Mexico for Saturday's contest at Sam Boyd Stadium in Las Vegas. Wyoming running back Xavier Valade is officially listed as day-to-day with a leg injury. Kickoff is scheduled for 8:30 p.m. That's enough sports for now. I am Reynolds.
Pour yourself another cup of coffee. We do have more news coming your way.
Good morning. As we head through the day, we've got clear skies. We've got a cold start, but we are going to see an improvement in our temperatures going ahead as we continue to see hardly a cloud in the sky out through 5 p.m. and not too much wind either. We may see some gusts getting up into the teens around Casper and better chances of a little bit more wind as we track east and south along I-25. So it'll certainly make it feel colder, especially this morning with temperatures still running below freezing. We track out through the afternoon. Things still not looking bad in terms of the wind across much of the area. Let's take a look at that hour-by-hour forecast in Casper. Temperatures going up into the mid-20s by 10 a.m. We're up to 32 right around noon. And then after that, for several hours, we'll reach up above freezing, up into the mid to upper 30s, which is very close to our seasonal average. And then tonight, we're back down into the mid-20s as we track out through late evening. It doesn't get quite as cold as this morning, as we're down to about 22 degrees as we head out to 7 a.m., so about 10 degrees warmer. High temperatures across the area today include 46 in Douglas. We're also tracking temperatures approaching 50 in Gillette and Buffalo. How about Casey? Get up to 51 degrees this afternoon. On Medicine Bow, looking at 34, so we're still colder here in the south. Rollins 33, Muddy Gap also maybe just above freezing for a bit with sunshine. 36 for Riverton, probably staying below freezing in Thermopolis, but Worland we're getting into some milder air, getting up to 41 degrees along with plenty of sun. As we check out the weather pattern this big ridge building in into the weekend. The systems have to go up and around the ridge, and so they really have minimal impact on us, and they have more impact in areas further east. So overall, our temperatures are going to continue mild, and the weather pattern looks pretty quiet, certainly in terms of any precipitation chance. As we head through the weekend, our skies are looking mostly clear heading out through Sunday. We see moisture to the west, but it has to go up and over that ridge, and maybe we get some precipitation in Montana, but heading down through Wyoming, we're mainly just going to see some clouds that may come in and mix with the sun as we track to the beginning to middle of next week. So here's your forecast for the next 7 days in Casper. We really have a pleasant December weekend for what it could be. Temperatures getting up into the mid-40s, along with lots of sun. And we'll start the 40s on Friday. Lows at night still getting down close to 20 degrees, but that will actually increase as we head into next week, as temperatures at night may not get much below 30. And daytime highs get even a little bit warmer. On Monday, we're up to 46 degrees. By Wednesday, we're all the way up to 48.
Now, from Wyoming's news leader, more news, more often. Covering the latest local headlines, Good Morning Wyoming continues.
Get your coffee cups ready because I have some stories ready for you. This morning, we learned more about the Pfizer and the BioNTech vaccine. Meanwhile, cases in the United States are going up and stimulus talks continue. Plus, Christmas is here in New York. We have more details on these stories and others are ahead. But first, let's get the latest on the coronavirus. Vaccines expect to roll out to Americans later this month. John Lawrence reports.
The United States surpassed 100,000 COVID-19 hospitalizations Wednesday, the highest since the pandemic began.
People from all walks of life, all ages, are getting afflicted by COVID-19.
7 of the 8 members of Sophia Burke's New Jersey household contracted the coronavirus.
My father died last Tuesday on a ventilator. My mother is home with oxygen, unable to breathe on her own.
Wednesday also saw 3,157 deaths, the highest daily number reported according to Johns Hopkins University.
It is incredibly challenging to be holding the hand of a patient when they take their very last breath because their loved ones can't be with them, and then having to call their loved ones after to tell them they won't be coming home.
Despite progress on the vaccine front, health officials say the next few months will be grim.
December and January and February are going to be rough times. I actually believe they're going to be the most difficult time in the public health history of this nation.
Before it's all said and done, this is going to be basically the bloodiest war this country has ever fought.
I'm John Lawrence reporting.
Now, the U.S. set a new record for the most coronavirus deaths reported in a single day. According to data from Johns Hopkins University, over 3,100 deaths are reported as of Wednesday. Experts say hospitalizations from the virus have also reached an all-time high. So far, over 100,000 COVID patients have reportedly been treated in hospitals across the country. Now, the White House will sign the Senate GOP's new aid package, and Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin has made an announcement while on Capitol Hill to testify along Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell. Both men urge Congress to approve relief without further delay. Powell says new funding will serve as a bridge for the economy to get the current environment. Now, Democrats did not disagree with Powell. Top congressional Democrats have also cut their demands for an over $2 trillion measure by more than half, now supporting a new bipartisan proposal that comes in around $908 billion, in the hopes that the move will bring Congress one step closer to delivering aid. Now, President-elect Joe Biden has expressed support for the measure. He says it will help Americans. Now, former President Barack Obama, George W. Bush, and Bill Clinton have all agreed to get the vaccine, and they'll do it on camera. Many experts believe the Federal Drug Administration is getting very close to approving one or more vaccine. Now, the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention will prioritize at-risk groups to get a vaccine once it's approved. Now, the UK has become the first Western country to approve a coronavirus vaccine from Pfizer and BioNTech. Our Abigail Taylor has the details.
In a big step toward ending the pandemic, American drug maker Pfizer and its partner BioNTech are the first to have a COVID vaccine go through the entire process required for emergency approval and come out on the other side. The vaccine has officially been given the green light for emergency use in the United Kingdom. According to the UK's health secretary, the process was able to move quickly because many of the steps were done in parallel rather than one at a time. He says vaccinations could begin within the next few days.
But there are immense logistical challenges, so it will inevitably take some months before all the most vulnerable are protected, long, cold months.
Pfizer's vaccine, like others, requires 2 doses for protection. Britain has secured 40 million doses to be delivered between now and the beginning of 2021. That's enough for 20 million people, or less than a third of its population.
So it's all the more vital that as we celebrate this scientific achievement, we're not carried away with over-optimism or fall into the naive belief that the struggle is over.
The UK plans to offer the vaccine first to those most at risk of contracting the virus and dying from it, including health workers and senior citizens, a similar strategy to what's being planned here in the US. Pfizer says it's been gearing up for even wider distribution if given a similar nod by the U.S. Food and Drug Administration. The FDA has made it clear it won't authorize any vaccine because of outside pressure, but this move by the UK signals that after its own review of Pfizer's vaccine, the FDA could very likely authorize it for emergency use here in the US as well. That's a decision expected as early as next week. I'm Abigail Taylor.
Meanwhile, a group of lawmakers introduced a joint resolution to remove certain language from the Constitution. They say it allows a form of slavery. Now it will amend the 13th Amendment's ban on enslavement, and constitutional amendments are rare and hard to achieve, but proponents say it's necessary. Some people say the current amendment still adversely affects Black Americans. An Ohio woman is alive, but her mom is murdered. An FBI agent is injured after police rescued an Ohio woman from her alleged kidnapper. Nadia Romero has the latest.
Missing was 45-year-old nurse Nicole Bernowski, and her mother, 69-year-old Norma Matko, found murdered in her home on Thanksgiving Day. Heartbreaking for those who knew her. FBI agents suspected 47-year-old James Howley, also known as Ahmaud Ben David, from Cleveland, killed Matko and was believed to be traveling with Bronowski.
Our detectives just worked nonstop to find and locate the daughter because we knew obviously she possibly was in danger.
Now pour yourself another cup of coffee. We do have more news coming your way.
Good morning and thanks for staying here with us. It's time for sports. I'm Derek Tate. We had some Wednesday afternoon football action. Not quite the same ring to it as Monday night football, but I digress. After 3 different delays and 22 players on the COVID-19 reserve list this week, the Baltimore Ravens would finally have their chance to hand their division rival, the Pittsburgh Steelers, their first loss of the season. To college basketball, it's the Maui Championship between the Texas Longhorns and the North Carolina Tar Heels, and this one lived up to the hype. Here's Cobra Kai Jones with the two-handed stuff. Bow to your sensei. And we have a tie game at 67, setting the table for this. Matt Coleman III step back for the win. It's good. Shooter's touch for the game winner as the Texas Longhorns win the Maui Championship in dramatic fashion by a final score of 69-67. We return to the NFL, where the Indianapolis Colts have a new member of the team, but it's not one that'll be taking the field. Our multicultural reporter from our Indianapolis affiliate, Wish TV, Katira Winfrey, has more.
For the Colts, there's more to life than football, but many of the team members you see on and off the field, creating a more diverse team and world makes the list. After months of widespread protests surrounding racial injustice, it's a topic not easily ignored.
Given everything that has happened, it's forced a lot of people to see what has been obvious for some for several years, right? So now with that heightened sense of what's going on, and we're talking about these things, I think it's forced us to say, here's what we are going to do moving forward.
In June, the Colts announced plans to hire a diversity, equity, and inclusion director. In a statement, Colts owner Jim Irsay said, the mission of the Colts is to entertain, unite, and inspire by winning the right way. And that's why creating this new position to focus solely on diversity, equity, and inclusion was so important to us. After months of searching, they've hired Brian Richardson Jr. Much of his professional career has involved the type of work needed to fulfill this role.
This is not about us. That what we're doing is trying to create a better environment, better opportunities for those who are coming after us. And at the same time, how can we salvage the experiences of the people who are currently here?
This isn't the Colts' first step in pushing for something like this. Earlier this year, some players wore Black Lives Matter shirts into the field. And Juneteenth, the day slaves in Texas found out they were free, is now a team holiday.
So I just see myself as being a part of a team. So I'm really looking forward to working with the people who laid the groundwork to make this happen.
Reporting in Indianapolis, I'm Katira Winfrey, Wish TV, wishtv.com, and follow us on Facebook.
Stay tuned and don't touch that dial. We have more news. We'll be right back.